You know, sometimes a single investor call can tell you everything you need to know about the future of tech. That's exactly what just happened with TSMC, the company that basically makes the brains for our entire digital world. They just laid out a massive, massive bet on AI. And folks, it's a big one. So you can imagine the tension, right? It all kicked off when an analyst got on the line and asked the one question that's been bugging everyone. Hey, all this AI stuff, are we in a bit of a bubble here? It's the multi-trillion-dollar question. And TSMC's answer? It wasn't some long, drawn-out speech. No, it was a number. $56 billion. That's what they're planning to spend this year. Let that sink in for a second. You just don't throw that kind of money around if you think this is all just temporary hype. Okay, so how on earth does a CEO, CC Wei, stand up and justify a number that big? Well, he didn't just brush off that bubble question. He actually dove right into it, explaining why they're so sure, so convinced that the AI demand is the real deal. And this is what I found really interesting. He didn't start with all that boring corporate jargon. He was refreshingly honest. He basically said, yeah, I'm nervous about it too, you bet. This shows you it's not some blind gamble. They know the stakes are high and the pressure is absolutely on. So how do you get comfortable with that level of risk? Well, they have this really smart 4-step process. It's not just, hey, customer, do you want more chips? No, they go deeper. They talk to their customers' customers, the big cloud providers. They ask, is this AI thing actually making you money? Is your business model working? And then they go and double-check the books to make sure the money is actually there. And after all that digging, all that due diligence, the CEO's takeaway was, well, it was pretty blunt. He just said the customers are very rich. I mean, you gotta love that. It's his way of saying, yeah, we checked. The biggest players in AI have deep, deep pockets. They can afford to keep this revolution going. All right, so once you've confirmed that the demand is real and the customers are loaded, the question changes. It's not if we should build, it's how fast can we build? How is TSMC actually going to make enough of these ridiculously complex chips to feed this hungry AI beast? Their plan, their blueprint for staying on top, really comes down to 3 big things. First, that massive pile of cash we talked about. Second, a really strategic move to expand in the US, specifically in Arizona, to be right next door to their American AI customers. And third, and this is super important, they're pouring money into something called advanced packaging. So what is this advanced packaging thing? Think of it like this. Instead of just one chip, it's the magic that lets you stack multiple powerful chips together, almost like a 3D puzzle, to create one super processor. It is absolutely critical for the kind of power AI needs, and you can see how fast it's growing. It's going to jump from around 8% of their revenue to over 10% in just a single year. That's a huge leap. And get this, to show everyone they're serious about this US expansion, the CEO just dropped that they've already bought a second plot of land in Arizona. They're not just building a factory, they're building what they call a gigafab cluster, basically a massive hub to serve their US clients way more efficiently. But okay, let's be real. A $56 billion bet is never a sure thing. There are always risks, and the analysts are pointing to 2 big potential problems on the horizon for TSMC: competition and, well, just physical limits. First up, the competition, and the big name here is Intel. The classic American chip giant. They're trying to make a huge comeback, they've got government money backing them, and there are whispers that they're trying to steal away some of TSMC's most important customers. So naturally, someone asks the CEO, "Are you afraid of Intel?" And his answer was just, no. That's it, just a flat no. He basically said, look, we've been fighting off tough competitors for 30 years. Our confidence isn't arrogance. It's built on having the best technology, period. Okay, so what about that second problem, the physical limits? This is a big one. Can we even generate enough electricity to power all these new AI data centers? I mean, it's a serious question, right? What's the point of having all these amazing chips if you can't plug them in? And this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. TSMC went and asked their biggest customers this very question, and the answer they got back was just wild. The cloud companies basically told them, look, you're not listening. You are the bottleneck. Forget the electricity, we'll figure that out. Just get us more of your chips. It turns out the biggest thing holding back AI's growth isn't power, it's the supply of TSMC's silicon. So, if they're not shaking in their boots about the competition and their customers are telling them power isn't the main issue, what gives them the nerve to make this $56 billion bet? Well, it all comes back to the very foundation of their company. Their technology is just better. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly hard to do. TSMC's chips manage to be both ridiculously fast and incredibly energy efficient. And for an AI data center, that's everything. You want all the performance you can get, but your electricity bill can't be astronomical. Nailing that combo, speed and low power, is their secret sauce. It's the holy grail. And that tech advantage creates this massive protective moat around their business that's so hard for anyone else to cross. It takes years for a company to design a new product around TSMC's latest chip. So by the time the first big customers are finally shipping their new gadgets, the next wave of customers is already deep into designing their stuff for that same technology. It creates this constant, rolling wave of demand that's almost impossible for a competitor to interrupt. So, when you step back, you realize this whole story isn't about TSMC being scared of an AI bubble. Not at all. It's a story about a company struggling to manage its own incredible success. Like the CEO said, their biggest headache right now isn't the risk, it's the gap between how many chips people want and how many they can physically make. And that really leaves us with a huge question, doesn't it? Because this isn't just about one company's supply chain, this is about the very foundation of the entire AI revolution. So what happens? What does the future of technology look like when the single most important company on Earth just can't build fast enough?